hear the enthusiasm, and yes, you should listen to him. He's the former host of this open mic comedy night. We haven't seen him here in a while, so please welcome to the stage, Steve Sweat!
Give me over your host, Mr. Jason Murray. What the hell have you been doing since I've been gone? But you've been doing it well. We got fucking drapes and shit up here. There's a lot of booths now. It's like, wow, that's... You know when like you used to have a job and you go check out the office and they've like totally remodeled it and there's new computers and shit? Like, what the fuck? Where was the budget when I was here? Speaking of work, I just got off of work and came straight to you people because I love you. I work in a restaurant. Anybody here work in the business, so to speak, bars, restaurants? Have you ever? See, I feel like everyone in this country should serve 2 years in the restaurants. Just like, you know, in Israel, you have to do 2 years in the army, whether you're a lady, a guy, whatever. I feel like in this fucked up capitalist society, everybody should do 2 years just so you can make sure you're not an asshole when you go out to... Oh, we get some real winners out there, man, some real winners. If you've ever filled out a comment card, fuck you, okay? For one, it doesn't do anything but start like a drunken argument between you and your alcoholic owner. He's like, well, I told you not to do that. And you're like, did you see these people? I had a buddy of mine that I worked with the other night. He had this table, he said, is there anything else I can do for you? They were a real problem table. And they said at the end, they're like, yeah, you can get a sex change. And like, he came to me because he's like, I don't know what that means. Like, did that mean he would rather have a waitress or... And I was like, I don't know, dude, but if it makes you feel any better, his mom asked for decaf and I gave her regular. So I'm pretty sure that bitch is gonna die tonight, so fuck that table. Fuck that table. No, I go to law school and I work for an attorney during the day. Let me warn you, if you ever go to law school, the second people find out that you're doing it, you get two things. They're like, whoa, that sounds tough. You know, I've got this legal question I'd like to ask you. You're like, well, you know, I'm like in my first year. There's a lot more to go. Like, yeah, well, have you ever divorced your own sister? Has that been, like, do you know anything about that? And I'm like, I would call Click. I'm pretty sure that the free law... No, it's true. So many people ask you constantly, and it's really annoying. And so I just need to tell you guys publicly, I have dropped out of law school. I have, but I'm currently pursuing an education in breast exams. So, get me questions later.
Yeah, what size is it?
Oh, thank God. Wait, hold on, let me. I'm so glad Miss Alma's back, because Miss Alma, I don't know if you've been watching Fox News, but apparently it's official that Santa Claus is white.
Yes, he is.
So I'm sure there's some other fictional things out there that are white. Easter Bunny, I always thought a little pinkish, you know, like me. A little pinkish. I can tell you right now that St. Patrick's definitely white, based on your...
Yes.
Was it Jameson? Jameson?
Guinnessy.
How's that for a fucking controversy? A major news network's like, we're going to discuss Santa Claus and his ethnic background. And then she went too far and she's like, well, Jesus is white. And everybody else had to like, wow, you haven't taken a history class ever. Geography is not really one of your... Not one of the required classes to be an anchor at Fox News. That's awesome. Jesus was born in Nazareth. Do you know where that is? He doesn't look like me, or he'd had a lot of sunburns. Alabama? There probably is. Is there a Nazareth, Alabama? There is? That's great that you know that. Actually, no, it is. I drove through Alabama once on Highway 20, and we stopped at a truck stop. The person I was with, we're moving them out to Florida, and I'm waiting for them to do their thing, and I'm going up and down the aisle. Truck stops in the South are like Walmart to us. They're fucking huge. There's just aisles and aisles of shit, and they have those hippie sticks. You know those hippie sticks? They're like, you juggle them, they're all leather. Well, I used to have a roommate that kind of taught me a couple moves. Now, all I could do was just kind of like keep it up on the thing, spin it a little bit. So I'm just sitting there fucking with it in the aisle, and I look down, and I swear to God, no exaggeration, there's like 8 Alabama kids around me, like staring at me like, holy shit, Dad, that's what those things are for. You better tell Mom she's using them wrong. So I felt like, I don't know, I felt like Harry Houdini for like a moment. I'm like, God damn, I should take an act to Alabama. I could really clean up with the truck stops there. Be like me and the pornographic video games that they had. Those would be like the two main attractions. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'll tell you, life is not easy when a 54-year-old man decides to get a woman pregnant and then you pop out 9 months later. So now I have an 87-year-old infant. My first child is 87 years old. He was my best friend my whole life. And you guys have seen the Curious Case of Benjamin Button? It's similar in that, but there's no Brad Pittness going on with him, but they completely revert to these infants, and you kind of have to keep a sense of humor about it, So my friendly little nickname for him is Little Papa Poo Poo Pee Pee Pants, and you gotta change him 3 times a day. He's now gotten to the point where you have to feed him, and it's a quick downfall to death. And like 2 weeks ago, our conversations were this. I'd be sitting there watching TV, feeding him, and he'd be watching the TV and he'd come up with these amazing things and he'd ask me, he'd be like, hey, if you get married in a movie, when the movie's over, do you still have to be married? And I was like, whoa. I don't know, man. I'd say that's your call, dude. You're 87. If you want to file those papers and get out of this situation, we'll get you out on the market, buddy. Throw some insures in you, a couple Viagras, and we'll see what happens, See what happens. And it was funny because I was always scared to death that my dad would find out I smoked pot, but now I just get fucking stoned to the bejesus. And I go up and he's like, hey, if you get married in a movie and like the movie ends, are you still married? And I'm like, whoa, I don't know, man. Like, what if there's a sequel? And he's like, I didn't even think of that. I'm like, seriously? I mean, fuck. I wasn't expecting a Thor 2, but there it is, Natalie Portman's back. She didn't destroy Star Wars enough. We get her again. That's great. Sorry to nerd out on you, man. No, but the sad thing about my dad now is he's so bad that like he can't talk. He can just mumble. So they'll like mumble at you like And you're like, well, what do you need, buddy? You hungry? So you go make some food and you come back and he's chewing on the blanket or the newspaper. He likes to do 2 things with the newspaper. Chew on it and like try to pull the pictures off of it. Just like try to pull them off. And so I catch him like chewing on the blanket. He's chewing on it and I'm like, you want some food? And he's like, He keeps chewing on the blanket. I'm like, don't worry, I made this food. And he kind of gets like a glimmer and then he'll eat the food. I swear to God, my mom or my sisters make the food. He likes the blanket. He likes the fucking blanket more, and that just gives me, we can't talk anymore. He's gonna be dead soon, but I'm like, fuck you bitches. He would rather eat a blanket than your food. Just think about that after he's gone. And I give you a blanket every year on his birthday and a cookbook. Here's a cookbook and a fucking blanket for you. Sorry, that's a little dark. It's a little dark. So I'll end you guys on a fun little sex thing, okay? I had never, until recently, and I know some of you won't believe this, I had never heard of a fleshlight. Do you guys know what this is? A fleshlight. Okay. This apparently is a male sex toy.
Joe Rogan.
that's disguised as a flashlight, and you open it up, and blah, blah, blah. There's a pocket pussy there. The reason I found this out is that my buddy had an epic couch surfer. The guy was there for like 6 months. I almost remembered his name, and I'm like, hey, what happened to the dude on the couch? He's like, oh, we had to kick him out. We found his fleshlight. And I'm like, well, what is that? And they're like, come on, Slim, you know what a fleshlight is. And I really didn't. So they explained it to me. And then instantly I'm like, how did you know that it wasn't a flashlight? Like, were they trying to turn it on? They're like, oh, it needs new battery. Oh, my God! Oh, this sucks. And then I started thinking, well, that's weird, because all the female sex toys I've ever seen, they're not incognito. They're like these bright purple, big, dangling, rotating penises with these neon green shit coming off the side that all vibrates. And it's totally different, you know, because if a woman said to us, like, hey, what do you think if we get the toy and you bring it into the bedroom? And we'd be like, fuck yeah, all of a sudden we're like a Jedi Knight, like, trying to, like, kill the dark side, and like, we're having a great time. But how's this gonna go over? Hey babe, you turn me on, you make me so hot, but before we get going, I'm just gonna fuck this flashlight for a minute, okay? I'm just gonna fuck the shit out of it. I'll be right with you. You look great, but I'm just gonna fuck this flashlight. And the more I thought about it, I don't think that men are ashamed. I don't think we're ashamed. I don't think we're trying to hide it and make it a flashlight. I just think that every guy knows in any age, in any situation, that Transformers are fucking awesome, man. They're the best. I mean, why just have a flashlight when I can all of a sudden, Optimus pussy, come here, do my bidding. Yes. All right, guys, give it up for your host, Jason Murray. My name's Steve Sweat. That's my time. Thank you very much.
Fuck yeah, keep it going with Steve Sweat.